morning, sci-fi and philosophy students. This is going to be the last of my YouTube post for the semester, dealing with topics that we've been wrestling with in the sci-fi and philosophy class. I'm going to do something a little bit different today as a consequence of my doing something different. This YouTube lecture will be shorter than usual. I did receive a good number of short assignments. Everybody was to write for today, and I received a good number of assignments. In fact, I felt sort of overwhelmed given the nature of the assignment, and I felt sort of overwhelmed by all the different angles by which students addressed the ethics of genetic enhancement and the application of utilitarianism to the issues and the application of the Kantian theory to the issues, and I'm grateful for receiving those. I think what I'm going to do is I'll just talk some about Gattaca and how it invites these questions of ethics, and I'll give you some of my own take on how a utilitarian or Kantian might respond to the ethics of the kind of genetic enhancements that are featured in the movie. And I would point out that, when I teach biomedical ethics, we cover this topic in much more detail, and we read articles written by experts in the field who work on the ethics of genetic enhancement. There's a whole literature out there on this. If any of you are interested in this, I could probably direct you towards some of that literature. But I'll just walk through what I've written about this and share that with you. And I would encourage you guys to think further about these things. I will just say now, too, as I hope you all have enjoyed the semester. I really wish that we could have been on campus to talk in person about these things. I think that's a much better way in which to do philosophy in a setting with others where we've read the same things, thought about the same things, and where we can talk about these things. It's hard to teach when I don't know how students are actually reacting to what I'm saying. But I've carried on as best I can. I hope you guys have carried on as best you can. I know that some of you have been putting forward a good bit of effort into doing the short assignments, into doing the readings. Some of you have been working hard on your papers as well. Keep in mind, you do have one last paper that is due next week, but you should all know about that already. So let us talk about Gattaca. I actually wrote myself a 2-page single-space paper on this that I will share with you. Look, Gattaca is a movie that presents us with the vision of a possible future in which society has the technology that enables doctors to examine the genetic makeup of parents who wish to conceive a child. Those parents may then have their child conceived in such a way that their preferred combination of their genes will be in the child. In this way, parents can choose genes for the child that increase the likelihood that the child will grow to be healthier, stronger, smarter, faster, better looking, etc. In the movie, it is clear that not every child is granted the preferred genes of their parents. Some children are still conceived getting a more random array of genes from their parents. Thus, some people are still born with genetically inherited problems and weaknesses. Because some of the people in this society have superior genetics chosen for them by their parents and others do not. This leads to discrimination in which those with superior genes that tend to make them healthier, smarter, stronger, better looking are given preferential treatment in the job market, giving the genetically enhanced more opportunity to land the better jobs in society. The movie explores this kind of genetic discrimination in detail, examining its harmful impact on two of the main characters, Vincent, played by Ethan Hawke, and Jerome, played by Jude Law. The movie invites us to think about whether we should encourage the development of such technology and how it should be put to use if it is developed and made available to the public. The reality is that such technologies are being developed. As our understanding of the human genome and our abilities to alter genes is being increasingly understood and utilized in the fighting of a variety of diseases. It seems the question is not so much whether these abilities to select the genetic makeup of our children will occur in the future, but when it will occur. Thus, it is fitting to wonder whether the use of such technology should be allowed, and if so, under what conditions and to what purpose. Should we allow the use of this technology only if everyone has access to it? Even so, some would-be parents may choose not to use it or conceive children the natural way by accident. Thus, there will still be people born who are not modified and who may be discriminated against. Or should we allow only those who can afford the technology to use it, allowing another pathway for the wealthier members of society to give their children more advantages than other children? Some may protest that we should not allow only those who can afford genetic enhancement to use it, because that is unfair to those who cannot afford it. But I would note that we already allow wealthy parents to provide things for their children that advantage their children. Things like violin lessons, tennis lessons, private tutors in math and science, etc., plastic surgery. This is not illegal, nor should it be illegal. So why not allow parents to select superior combinations of their genes for their children as well? Utilitarianism is the view that we should always seek to maximize the greater happiness for the greater number. In forming policy on the use of genetic enhancement technology, the utilitarian will be guided by concern for maximizing the overall happiness of society. It would seem that utilitarians would allow the use of such technologies, especially to eliminate genetically inherited diseases that lead to much suffering and are costly to deal with. But utilitarians might also encourage the use of such technologies to produce smarter offspring as well. Our society benefits from having more intelligent citizens who can run businesses more efficiently, develop new technologies and social policies, and find cures for illnesses. It might be thought that this will lead to the discrimination that we see in the movie, and that such discrimination is inconsistent with utilitarian goals. But the utilitarians may promote setting up anti-discrimination laws that disallow genetic-based discrimination. Thus, natural-born citizens like Vincent in the movie won't have to supply their genetic information and compete for jobs based solely on the merit of their performance and effort. Allowing for the use of such technology while making genetic-based discrimination illegal may be the utility-maximizing solution. Again, it may be thought that for utilitarian reasons, genetic enhancement should only be allowed if everyone is subjected to it. But again, the problem is that there will still be some children conceived naturally through accidental pregnancies. Also, what is the basis for only allowing some to use the technology? That it is unfair that some can use it and some cannot? But again, we already allow children to be raised by different parents, some who can or will provide a more enriching environment for their children than others. And that is unfair to the children whose parents cannot or will not provide. So why not allow for these genetic enhancements as well, even if perhaps only the rich can afford them? Now, Kantians endorse the categorical imperative. The categorical imperative can be expressed in different ways. I will just focus on the principle of ends here. This principle of ends states that we should always treat humanity in our own persons or in that of others as an end, and never as mere means. That is, we should respect the capacity of persons to make decisions for themselves and to choose goals and to pursue those goals as they see fit. We should not treat persons as mere means for the ends of others or society. What would this theory of Kant's, what would it say about the use of such technologies? Seems to me it could be argued that we should use such technologies to conceive healthier, smarter, more physically fit offspring. It is to be noted here that debilitating diseases and stunted intellectual capacities get in the way of persons' abilities to realize the goals they set for themselves. Thus, by choosing genes that eliminate debilitating inherited diseases and that provide for better intellectual abilities, we are giving offspring a better capacity to achieve their goals later in life. In this way, we show respect for the capacity to pursue goals that these persons set for themselves by making them free from certain illnesses and keeping them free from being born with genetically inherited mental deficiencies. This promotes their freedom and does not detract from it. Thus, the principle of ends may support the use of such genetic enhancing technologies. It may still be wondered who should get these enhancements. Excuse me. Should it be up to the parents? A Kantian case could be made that all children should receive the enhancements, because doing what we can to promote the freedom of persons to achieve their goals is owed equally to all persons. But there will still be persons born by natural means through accidental pregnancies. The Kantian will promote protecting them as best we can by disallowing genetic-based discrimination in society. After all, just like Vincent in the movie, some people, indeed many of them, with inferior genes will, through their own efforts, make themselves every bit as good as those with the best genes. Much more can be said about all of this, and much more has been said by ethicists who work in this field. As I said earlier, when I teach biomedical ethics, we cover the subject in a good bit of detail, studying articles written by experts in the field. As of now, I leave it for you to think about this issue further. The technology is coming. We must think about these things now so that we are prepared to choose wisely when it arrives in its full force in the future. That's all I've got to say. Be safe out there. Continue to think about the issues. Hopefully you've had a good time this semester studying and thinking about philosophy and science fiction. I think the two work well together. See you down the road. Bye-bye.